I saw you counting the coins on the kitchen table tonight, not just the ones in your hand, but the ones you wish were there. And I want you to know that the math of heaven is about to rewrite the physics of your poverty. I have watched you through the late hours, those long, silent stretches where the ticking of the clock sounds like a drumbeat of all your fears, and I have heard the silent scream of your spirit asking when the tide will finally turn. You have felt so incredibly alone, as if the universe had turned its back on your small apartment, as if the ceiling were the limit of my reach, and as if your prayers were merely bouncing off the drywall and falling back to the floor like heavy dust. But I am closer than the breath that catches in your throat when the bills arrive. I am in the very shadow you cast against the wall. Do you not realize that I have been preparing a banquet in the middle of your desert? You look at the balance in your account and you see a void, but I look at that same space, and I see a canvas ready for my signature. Your anxiety has been a heavy cloak, weighing down your shoulders until you walk with a spirit that is bowed and broken. But I am here to lift that weight, my child. I am here to tell you that the era of not enough is drawing to a close under the divine decree of 9122, a specific season I have carved out for your restoration. This number is not a coincidence. It is a coordinate in time where my grace meets your greatest need. You have been asking, how, Lord? From where? You look toward the usual channels, the job that pays just enough to keep you hungry, the family that has nothing left to give, the institutions that treat you like a number in a cold ledger. But I am not limited to the logic of men or the systems of the world. I am the God who commanded the ravens to feed Elijah in the wilderness. I am the God who found a coin in the mouth of a fish. And for you, I have orchestrated a breakthrough from a source so strange, so entirely unexpected, that when it arrives, your first instinct will be to laugh in disbelief before you fall to your knees in praise. This will not be a typical paycheck or a standard bonus. It will be a manifestation of the supernatural. Perhaps it will be an inheritance from a name you have never heard, a legal settlement from a wrong committed decades ago that the world had forgotten but I had kept on record. Perhaps it will be a digital error that reveals an overlooked fortune, or a stranger who approaches you with a gift that matches the exact number you whispered into your pillow last night. It might come as a letter from a distant land, or a property you never knew you owned suddenly becoming a gold mine. Whatever the vessel, know that it is my hand that steers it, and the strangeness of the source is my way of ensuring you know it could only have been me. The world tells you to panic, to hoard the little you have, and to fear the morning. But I tell you to breathe. I am the architect of the stars, and not one of them falls without my permission. Do you truly think I would let you fall? Your financial struggle is not a punishment. It has been a crucible, a place where your faith was refined until it became more precious than the gold you seek. You have learned in the silence of your lack that I am your only true source. Now that you have found my heart in the darkness, I can trust you with the light of abundance. You will not just be a recipient of this strange blessing. You will be a conduit. This wealth is arriving at your door not just to pay your debts, but to ignite a fire of generosity that will change the lives of those around you. I am looking for hands that are open, not just to receive, but to release. I see the way you try to hide your worry from those you love, the way you smile even as your stomach ties itself in knots, pretending everything is fine while you calculate how many days you can stretch a single bag of rice. I see the quiet dignity with which you have carried this burden. It is enough. The heavy lifting is mine now. You are entering a window of time where the impossible becomes the routine, and where the scarcity of your past becomes a distant memory like a dream you had before waking. I am moving people you have never met to act on your behalf. I am opening ledgers that were closed for generations. I am turning the hearts of those who held your future in their hands, making them restless until they fulfill the mission I have given them to help you. You are my beloved, and I take no pleasure in your lack. I am the God of more than enough, and I am about to manifest that reality in your physical world. This is not a metaphor. This is not just a spiritual platitude to make you feel better for a moment. This is a divine intervention. The strange source is already being activated. Like a river that was dammed up for years, the pressure has built and the walls are about to give way. The flow will be sudden and it will be overwhelming. Do not let your heart be troubled any longer. The silence of the past months was not my absence, it was my preparation. I was quiet because I was busy working behind the scenes, aligning the stars of your destiny so that when the floodgates open, nothing can stop the flow. You have walked through the valley of the shadow of debt, but you are emerging into the sunlight of my provision. Every tear you shed over a late notice has been caught in my bottle, and I am turning those tears into the very wine of your celebration. Rest tonight, my child. Close your eyes and let the tension leave your body. The morning is not coming with more worry. It is coming with the first rays of your deliverance. The strange source is already on its way, moving through the pathways of the world, guided by my unwavering love for you. You are seen. You are loved. You are about to be abundantly provided for, and the world will watch in wonder as I do for you what no man could ever do. Consider the way a seed waits beneath the frozen earth, silent and seemingly forgotten, yet pulsing with a life that cannot be extinguished. You have been that seed. You have felt the weight of the cold soil, the pressure of the darkness, and the fear that your potential would never see the light of day. But I tell you, the thaw has begun. Even now, the warmth of my favor is penetrating the layers of your circumstance. You have looked to the obvious places for your help, the bank, the employer, the government, and when those doors remained locked, you felt a chill in your soul. But my ways are not dictated by the structures of men. I am the architect of the impossible. Watch now as I activate the strange source I promised. It may come through an envelope tucked inside a book you haven't opened in years, or a forgotten dividend from a company you thought had long since dissolved. It may come through a legal settlement involving a name you haven't heard since your childhood, a restitution for a wrong you had already forgiven and forgotten. I am reaching back into your history to correct the ledger of your life. Where you were cheated, I am adding interest. Where you were undervalued, I am bringing a public acknowledgement that carries a heavy weight of gold. Do you remember the night you sat at your kitchen table, the glow of a single lamp illuminating a stack of bills that felt like a mountain? I was there, sitting in the chair across from you. I saw the way your hands trembled as you did the math, finding only a deficit. I saw the way you whispered my name, not in anger, but in a quiet, desperate hope. That whisper reached the highest heavens, and it set in motion a series of events that are now coming to fruition. I have moved upon the heart of a person who does not even know your name, a stranger in a distant city who has been stirred by my spirit to release a portion of their wealth toward a cause that will eventually land in your hands. This is not a coincidence. It is a divine collision. I am breaking the cycle of lack that has haunted your family for generations. You are the one I have chosen to be the breaker of the curse. The struggle you have endured was not a punishment, but a training ground. I had to teach you the value of a single grain so that, when I give you the entire harvest, you will know how to manage it with a heart of gratitude and wisdom. You will not be like those who gain the world and lose their souls. You will be a conduit of my grace, a river that flows because its source is eternal. Think of the person who once treated you poorly in business, the one who walked away with what was rightfully yours. Do not harbor bitterness toward them, for I am using even their actions to position you for something greater. I am the God who makes the wrath of man praise me. I am currently rearranging the assets of the unrighteous, moving them into the hands of those who will use them to build my kingdom of love. You will receive a phone call, perhaps from a number you do not recognize, and the voice on the other end will speak words that sound like a fairy tale. Do not be afraid to believe. Do not let the cynicism of the world rob you of this moment. Your pantry, which has seen days of scarcity, is about to be filled with the finest things. The car that has labored to get you from place to place will be replaced by a vehicle that reflects the dignity I have placed upon you. The home that has felt more like a cage of bills than a sanctuary of peace will become a place of rest and hospitality. I am doing this because I delight in you. I am doing this because you stayed faithful when the light was dim. As you drift into sleep, I want you to visualize the chains of debt falling away. See them dissolving like mist in the morning sun. Feel the lightness in your chest. The pressure that has made it hard to breathe for so long is being lifted by my own hand. I am breathing new life into your finances, your career, and your creative endeavors. That idea you had months ago, the one you dismissed as a whim, it was a seed I planted. Soon, the right person will see it, the right door will swing wide, and you will understand that I was never late. I was simply waiting for the perfect moment to display my glory through your life. Rest now, for the machinery of heaven is in constant motion on your behalf. There are angels assigned to your bank accounts, ministers of fire clearing the path for your prosperity. You are not a beggar at the gates of life. You are a child of the King, and your inheritance is being released. The strange source is closer than you think, and its arrival will be the first of many signs that a new season has dawned. The winter of your want is over, the spring of your plenty has arrived. Listen to the silence of the night, and hear in it the promise of the coming dawn. You have often wondered why others seem to find the path so easy while yours was filled with thorns. You compared your journey to theirs and felt a sting of inadequacy. But I have been refining you in the furnace of your need. I have been burning away the dependencies that would have failed you later. I wanted you to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I am your provider. Not your job, not your intellect, not your connections, but me. And because you have learned this truth in the dark, you will be able to handle the blinding light of the abundance that is coming. I am even now touching the mind of a government official, a clerk in an office you've never visited, causing them to find a file with your name on it. A refund, a rebate, a correction of an error from years ago, it is being processed this very hour. You will see it as a windfall, but I see it as justice. I am the God of justice, and I do not sleep until the balance is restored. You have been a giver even when you had little, sharing your last bit of bread, your last hour of time. Do you think I have forgotten your generosity? Every act of kindness you performed while you yourself were in need was a seed sown in fertile soil. Now, the harvest of those seeds is coming back to you, multiplied 100-fold. The strange source will not only provide for your needs, but will also provide for your dreams. You have buried your dreams deep, fearing they were too expensive for a person in your position. I am resurrecting them. I am giving you the capital to start what you thought was impossible. I am giving you the resources to help others who are currently standing where you once stood. You will become the strange source for someone else in the future, a vessel of my unexpected blessing in their lives. Do not try to figure out the how or the when with your human logic. My logic operates on the frequency of miracles. Just as I fed the thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish, I will take the little you have left and make it more than enough. You will look at your bank balance and have to check it twice, thinking there must be a mistake. But the only mistake is the world's underestimation of my love for you. The world says you are finished, I say you are just beginning. The world says you are in a hole, I say you are in a foundation. Peace, my child. Let the waves of my comfort wash over you. The struggle is transitioning into a story of triumph. The lack is transitioning into a legacy. You are held. You are safe. And you are about to be surprised by a goodness that exceeds your boldest prayers. Even now, as you breathe in this quiet moment, the gears of my providence are turning in places you have never visited and through hearts you have never met. You have spent so many nights staring at the ceiling, tracing the thin cracks in the plaster as if they were maps of your own brokenness, wondering how the arithmetic of your life could ever possibly add up to enough. You have looked at your hands and seen only the things they could not hold, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers like dry sand. But I am the one who gathers the sand. I am the one who counts the grains. The very things you thought were lost have been working for you in the secret places of my grace. Think of the person you least expect to offer you a hand, perhaps one who once spoke against you, or a cold institution that has always seemed like an impenetrable wall of bureaucracy. I am softening those stones. I am turning the hearts of kings and creditors alike, like rivers of water, to flow toward the dry ground of your bank account. Soon, you will receive a phone call from a number you do not recognize, and your first instinct will be to let it go to voicemail, fearing another demand for payment or another voice of judgment. But I tell you, answer it. For on the other end is a voice carrying the news of a restitution you did not even know was owed to you. It is a settlement from a past you thought was dead, a refund from a system that usually only takes, an inheritance of favor that bypasses the traditional laws of biology and bloodline. You are being grafted into a lineage of abundance that the world cannot tax or terminate. I have watched you walk past the store windows, looking at the things you need, not the luxuries, but the basic necessities for your household, for your health, for your peace. And I have heard the silent, "not yet," that you whisper to yourself in the aisles. That "not yet" is being replaced by "already done." I am moving a hand to sign a document in a boardroom where you have no seat, and that signature will change the trajectory of your next 10 years. It will not arrive as a trickle. It will arrive as a sudden breaking of a dam. You will find yourself sitting on the floor of your kitchen, the phone still warm against your ear, weeping not from sorrow, but from the sheer weight of a relief so heavy it makes your knees buckle. This is the weight of my glory manifest in your material world. I am not a God who only cares for the spirit while the body hungers. I created the grain and the grape, the silver and the gold. They belong to me, and I am choosing to place them in your stewardship because I know that your heart has been refined in the fire of lack. You will not hoard this blessing, for you know the hollow ache of the empty cupboard, and that knowledge will make you a bridge for others. But first, let me bridge the gap for you. Do not look at the economy of men, which fluctuates with the wind and the whims of the greedy. Look at the economy of the kingdom, where the currency is faith and the interest rate is infinite. There is a specific debt that has been a shadow over your morning coffee for years, a number that seems to grow eyes and mock you every time you open your mail. Watch how I dissolve that shadow. It will not be through your overtime or your frantic side hustles, though I bless the work of your hands. It will be through a glitch in their system that turns out to be a divine intervention, or a letter stating that the balance has been satisfied by a source you cannot identify. I am that source. I am the surety for your soul and your debt. Your life has been a series of just barelys and not quites, but that season is folding like a discarded garment. You are being clothed in the robes of my sufficiency. Feel the tension leaving your shoulders right now, that chronic tightness that has become so familiar you forgot what it was like to be light. I am lifting the yoke. I am clearing the ledger. I am making the way straight where the path was once a labyrinth of dead ends. You are not a beggar at the gates of my mercy. You are a child at the table of my provision. Consider the blue envelope that will appear in your mailbox, the one you might have mistaken for a flyer. Open it. Inside lies the evidence that I have been listening to your whispers in the dark. I am using the strange to show you that I am not limited by the normal. If I have to use a stranger's sudden impulse of generosity or a forgotten investment from a decade ago, I will do it. I am rearranging the molecules of your circumstances to create a breakthrough that defies every spreadsheet you have ever labored over. You have felt like a ghost in your own life, unseen by the systems of wealth, but you are the primary focus of my gaze. The world's no is being drowned out by my yes and amen. I am the God of the overflow, the God of the extra, the God who provides until there is no more room to receive. Do not be afraid to receive it. Do not let the spirit of poverty tell you that you do not deserve this. You do not earn my love, and you do not earn my provision. You inherit it. You are stepping into a clearing in the woods where the sun finally hits your face. The shadows of "how will I pay" and "what will we do" are evaporating in the heat of my goodness. There is a knock coming to your door, not of a collector, but of a messenger. There is an email coming to your inbox, not of a rejection, but of a reward. Prepare your heart for the shock of kindness. Prepare your hands to be full. I am doing a new thing, and it begins with the healing of your house. The foundations are being reinforced with the gold of my grace, and the walls will soon echo with the laughter of a person who no longer has to choose between a dream and a bill. Rest now, for the morning brings a signature that changes everything. The dawn is not just a marker of time, but a threshold of a new era for your lineage. You have lived in the not enough for so long that it became a second skin, a rough fabric you learned to wear without complaining. But I am stripping away that garment. I am dressing you in the silk of my favor. Notice the way the air feels today. There is a lightness that replaces the leaden dread that usually greets your waking moments. Yesterday's worries are like withered leaves, blown away by a wind you did not see coming. Let us speak of the source. It will not come through the channels you have been watching so desperately. You have looked to your left and your right, to the promotion that didn't happen, to the loan that was denied, to the person you thought would help but turned away. I have blinded those paths so that when the blessing arrives, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was my hand alone. It is coming from the north, from a place you haven't considered in a decade. There is a legal document, a settlement from a corporation that long ago did you or your ancestors wrong, a quiet redistribution of wealth that has been mandated by the courts of heaven and executed by the hands of men who do not even know why they feel compelled to settle this debt now. You will receive a call from an attorney whose name sounds like a melody you once heard in a dream. They will speak of an inheritance, of a residue, of a forgotten asset. At first, your mind will reach for skepticism. You will wait for the catch, the fine print, the too good to be true clause that has governed your life for so long. But I say to you, silence the cynic within. This is not a trick of the enemy, it is the triumph of the king. I have been watching you give when you had nothing. I have seen you share your last meal, your last dollar, your last bit of hope with someone else who was drowning. You thought those seeds were lost in the mud, but they were actually germinating in the deep. The amount will be specific, a number that covers not just the debt, but the interest on your tears. It will be enough to clear the slate, and then some. It will be enough to provide a canopy of security for those you love. I am moving the hearts of strangers to favor you. Someone you haven't seen in 20 years, someone who remembers a kindness you performed when you were just a child, has been prompted by my spirit to write you into their legacy. They cannot sleep because of the urgency I have placed in their soul to see you restored. Do not let the magnitude of this gift make you feel small. You are not a beggar receiving a handout. You are a child receiving an estate. The transition from survival to abundance requires a renewal of the mind. You must stop looking for the price tag on every joy. You must stop apologizing for the space you occupy. I am expanding your borders. The walls of your house will be filled with the things you once only dared to look at through shop windows. But more than the objects, the house will be filled with peace. The tension in your shoulders, that chronic tightness that has defined your posture, is melting. I am the God of the strange and the supernatural. I use the ravens to feed Elijah and the fish to pay Peter's taxes. I am using a strange source to prove to you that I am not limited by the economy of your nation or the balance of your checking account. I am the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills, and I am choosing this moment to sell a few and give the proceeds to you. This is the suddenly you have prayed for. This is the amen to your midnight cries. When you hold the paper in your hand, when you see the numbers on the screen, your first instinct will be to weep. Let the tears fall. They are the washing away of the years of lack. They are the baptism of your new season. After the weeping, there will be a deep, resonant laughter. It will start in your belly and rise up, a sound of defiance against every spirit of poverty that told you that you would die in the desert. You are not dying in the desert. You are discovering an oasis that I have been digging for you while you were sleeping. Prepare to be a conduit. This blessing is not just to stop at your door, it is to flow through it. You will become the strange source for someone else's miracle. You will know the thrill of being my hand extended. But first, let me saturate you. Let me fill your coffers until they overflow. Let me settle the disputes that have kept you awake. The signature I spoke of, it is being inked right now. The courier is already on the road. The digital bits are already traveling through the wires. The unseen world is in a flurry of activity to bring this to your physical reality. Rest in this. I am never late. I was not late when the bills piled up, for I was building your character. I was not late when the answer seemed delayed, for I was preparing the harvest to be greater than the seed. I am on time, and my time is now. The morning has broken, and with it, the chains of financial bondage have shattered into 1,000 pieces of dust. Walk out into the light. Look at the horizon with eyes of expectation. The strange source is about to become your greatest testimony. I am turning the what if into it is done. You might wonder why I chose this specific way. It is because I love to surprise my children. I love to see the look of wonder on your face when the impossible becomes your everyday. I am the God who hides treasures in the sand. I am the God who calls forth water from the rock. The person who will contact you, watch their eyes. They will be just as surprised as you are by the generosity they feel moved to display. It is a divine conspiracy of goodness. It is the restoration of all the years the locusts have eaten. Every sleepless night spent staring at the ceiling, every meal skipped to make ends meet, every no you had to say to your children's needs. I have kept a record of them all. And I am paying it all back with the currency of my kingdom. You are being launched out of the cycle of just enough into the realm of more than enough. This is the healing of your lineage. The spirit of struggle that followed your parents and their parents before them stops with you. I am placing a new mantle on your shoulders, a mantle of prosperity, not for vanity, but for the advancement of my love on this earth. Feel the warmth of my presence surrounding your finances. I am breathing on your bank account. I am breathing on your investments. I am breathing on your creative ideas. Even your work will begin to feel like play, for the pressure to perform for survival has been lifted. You are now performing for joy. You are creating from a place of rest. This is the secret of the kingdom, that when you are at rest, I am at work. And I have been working very hard on this surprise for you. Look closely at the hands you have used to toil for so long. They have been calloused by the weight of worry, tracing the lines of spreadsheets and the sharp edges of unpaid bills. But I am softening those hands now, for they are about to receive what they did not earn through sweat alone. I am opening a door that was bolted shut before you were even born. There is a name you haven't spoken in a decade, a person who crossed your path during a season of your own brokenness. You shared a kind word, a momentary sacrifice of your time when you had nothing else to give. You forgot that seed, but I have been watering it in the dark. I am stirring that person's spirit right now. They are waking up with your face in their mind, gripped by a sudden, inexplicable urgency to honor you. They do not even understand why their heart is burning with this desire to bless you, but they will obey the impulse. This is not a transaction. It is an eruption of my grace coming through a vessel you had long ago dismissed as irrelevant to your story. I am using the most unlikely channels to prove that I am not limited by the economy of man. You have looked at your paycheck and seen a ceiling, but I look at the atmosphere and see a downpour. Within the coming days, watch for the arrival of a document, perhaps a letter with a faded stamp or an electronic notification from an institution that once turned you away. There was a clerical error years ago, a mistake that worked against you, buried under layers of bureaucracy. I have gone into those dusty archives. I have moved the hand of a stranger in an office you will never visit to find your file. I have caused them to see the discrepancy that everyone else missed. What was withheld from you with interest is being released, and the restoration will be so precise it will leave you breathless. Do you remember the dream you tucked away in the back of your heart, the one you labeled impossible because the numbers wouldn't add up? I am dusting off that dream. I am providing the capital from a source that seems almost comical in its randomness. Perhaps it will be a refund from a forgotten account, or an inheritance from a distant branch of the family tree that you never thought would bear fruit. I am doing this to show you that your provision is tied to my sovereignty, not your proximity to power or your history of struggle. You have spent years bracing for the next blow, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I am taking those shoes off your feet, for you are standing on holy ground. The ground of your future is no longer hard and dry. It is yielding. I am even influencing the thoughts of those who have been your adversaries. Those who sought to block your progress or deny you what was fair are finding themselves unable to sleep until they make it right. I am turning their resistance into a bridge. You will see a shift in the way people respond to you, a sudden favor, an unexpected discount, an invitation into a room where you were previously unwelcome. This wealth is not just paper and ink, not just digits on a screen. It is the physical manifestation of my protection. I am building a hedge around you so that you can finally breathe. I want you to go to that quiet place in your home, the one where you have shed the most tears over your lack, and I want you to stand there and smile. I am replacing the scent of desperation with the fragrance of abundance. I am healing the trauma of not enough that has lived in your cells since childhood. You will no longer look at a price tag and feel a pang of shame. You will no longer calculate the cost of a gallon of milk with a heavy heart. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, and I am starting with the very things that kept you awake at 3 in the morning. Notice the coincidences that aren't coincidences. Notice the stranger who offers you an opportunity that sounds too good to be true. Only this time, it is true because I am the architect of the deal. I am bringing people into your life who possess the keys to storehouses you didn't know existed. They will see something in you, a light, a resonance, that compels them to open those doors for you. You are being moved from the back of the line to the front, not because you pushed, but because I have beckoned you forward. This is the hour where the hidden things are revealed. Even that old, discarded idea you had, the one you thought was foolish, is being breathed upon. Someone with the means to make it grow is going to hear about it, perhaps through a casual conversation in a place you didn't expect to be. I am orchestrating the intersections of your life to ensure that you are at the right place at the right time to receive this strange, beautiful bounty. Rest your mind. The frantic energy of trying to figure out how is being replaced by the stillness of knowing who. I am the how. I am the source, and I am just getting started. You have lived in the tension of the not yet for so long that your heart has grown accustomed to the rhythm of scarcity, but I am here to recalibrate your heartbeat to the frequency of my abundance. Look closely at the mail you receive in the coming days. Among the mundane bills and the empty advertisements, there will be a document, an envelope that looks unassuming, perhaps even official or cold in its appearance. Do not toss it aside. Inside is the beginning of a restoration you thought was impossible. It is a correction of a past oversight, a refund from a season you have long since forgotten, or a dividend from a seed you planted in tears. I am the God who remembers the forgotten. I am the one who tracks the interest on every act of obedience you have ever performed. While you were sleeping, I was working in the ledgers of men, moving the pens of accountants and the hearts of administrators. They will call it a clerical error or a system update, but you will know it is my hand reaching through the machinery of the world to bring you what is rightfully yours. I am even touching the memory of that individual who once wronged you financially. I am stirring their conscience in the quiet hours of the night. They will find no rest until they make amends, and the restitution they bring will far exceed the original debt. It will come with a humble apology that heals the wound as much as the wealth fills the void. This is the strange beauty of my economy. I use the very instruments of your past pain to become the vessels of your future peace. Even now, there is a legal settlement being finalized, one you had no part in initiating, yet your name is written in the distribution list. You are a beneficiary of a grace you did not seek. Think back to that small, dusty journal you tucked away in a box years ago, the one filled with sketches, or perhaps a unique way of organizing a community, or a blueprint for a service that didn't exist then. Someone is looking for exactly that solution today. I am arranging for that journal to be found, for those pages to be turned, and for the right eyes to see the brilliance I placed within you. You will receive a call from an area code you do not recognize, from a person who heard of you through a third party you haven't spoken to in a decade. Do not let your heart race with anxiety when the phone rings. Let it swell with expectation. I am the one pulling the strings of coincidence. I am the one weaving the gold into the linen of your daily routine. You have felt like an outsider looking in at the prosperity of others, wondering if my eyes had skipped over your house. But my gaze has always been fixed upon you. I was waiting for the moment when the world's systems would fail, so that when your breakthrough came, no man could take the credit. It is not coming from your sweat alone, nor from your cleverness, but from the surplus of my kingdom. I am opening the windows of heaven, but I am also opening the vaults of the earth. There is a piece of property, perhaps a literal plot of land or a metaphorical stake in a venture, that has been dormant. The value of that hidden asset is about to skyrocket. What was once considered worthless by the experts of this world is being revalued by my decree. You will walk into a room where you expected to be the student, only to find that people are waiting to pay for your expertise. The very things you find easy, the gifts you took for granted because they came so naturally to you, are the keys to your new storehouses. Others have struggled to do what you do with a single breath, and they are now willing to invest in your vision. Your financial story is being rewritten from a tragedy of barely enough to an epic of more than enough. I am doing this so you can be a conduit. As the wealth flows to you, it will flow through you, but do not fear that it will run dry. A conduit does not lose water. It is simply the first to feel the coolness of the stream. You are being positioned as a distributor of my goodness in a world that is parched. The stress that has sat like a heavy cloak upon your shoulders is being unfastened. Feel the lightness. Feel the way your breath deepens as the pressure of the debt is lifted. I am not just giving you a fish, I am giving you the sea. I am not just providing for your needs, I am providing for your dreams. The strange source of this blessing will remind you that I am not limited by your employer, your bank, or your background. I am the owner of the cattle on 1,000 hills, and I am choosing this moment to sell a few and deposit the proceeds into your life. Rest, my child. The frantic searching is over. The finding has begun. I am moving you into a season of quietude where the only sound is the gentle overflow of my provision. You are safe. You are seen. And you are about to be significantly, strangely, and beautifully surprised. Even now, as you walk through the familiar corridors of your daily routine, I am stirring the waters of a distant pool. You have spent years looking at the horizon, waiting for a ship that you thought had been lost at sea. But I am bringing your provision from the very ground beneath your feet. It is not coming from the places you have applied, nor is it coming from the people you have lobbied. It is coming through a name you have not spoken in a decade, from a document that has gathered dust in a government archive, and from a curiosity that once felt like a detour. I am opening a door that was locked before you were born. Do you remember the small act of kindness you offered when you had nothing yourself? That seed did not die. It entered the soil of my kingdom and has been maturing into a forest. I am now calling in the harvest of every silent tear you shed over a bill you couldn't pay. I saw you at that kitchen table, lit only by the glare of your laptop, your heart hammering against your ribs as you moved numbers around that simply would not fit. I saw the way you tucked your anxiety away so that those you love would not have to carry it. I am the God who rewards in the open what was endured in the secret place. The strange source I speak of will defy the logic of your accountants. It will be a legal restoration of what was stolen 3 generations ago, or a digital windfall from a venture you thought had failed. It is the happen chance that isn't chance at all. I am moving upon the heart of a stranger in a distant city who has been given a dream about you, a prompt they cannot ignore until they fulfill the mission I have placed within them. You have been in a season of just enough, where the manna fell daily, but never allowed you to store up for the future. That season is ending. I am shifting you from the survival of the wilderness into the inheritance of the land. You will find that your credit is being cleared by hands you never shook. You will find that debts are being forgiven because of administrative errors that are actually my interventions. I am removing the lack from your vocabulary. You have looked at your bank balance as a measure of your worth, but I look at my treasury as the measure of your supply. I am unblocking the pipes of your prosperity that were clogged by the words of those who said you would never amount to anything. Those words are being dissolved in the acid of my grace. Feel the constriction in your chest begin to loosen. That phantom weight, the one that makes you wake up at 4 in the morning with a start, is being replaced by a deep, resonant peace. I am not just fixing your finances. I am healing your relationship with the concept of more. You have been afraid to ask for more because you didn't want to be disappointed, but I am the God of the exceedingly and abundantly. I am going to use a person who doesn't even like you to be the catalyst for your breakthrough. I am going to use an industry you know nothing about to provide the platform for your increase. This is the strangeness of my favor. It does not require a resume. It only requires a yes. You are entering a time where the phone calls you receive will no longer be from collectors, but from creators and curators of your future. They will seek you out for what I have placed inside you. You will be compensated for your pain, reimbursed for your patience, and rewarded for your persistence. Do not try to figure out the how. If you could figure it out, it wouldn't be a miracle. If it came from your boss, you would thank your boss. But because it is coming from this strange, unexpected, and seemingly impossible source, you will know that it is me. You will stand in your living room, holding a letter or looking at a screen, and you will laugh, a deep, belly-shaking laugh that you haven't felt in years. It is the laugh of Sarah, the laugh of the redeemed who realized the nightmare is over. I am setting a table for you in the presence of your doubts. I am pouring oil on your head until your cup runs over into the lives of your children and your neighbors. You are becoming a fountain. You have known the parched tongue of the desert for so long that you have forgotten what it is like to swim. Dive into this. Let the waves of my provision wash over the jagged edges of your memories. I am making all things new, starting with the way you provide for your house. The struggle is not your identity. It was only a temporary assignment. Now the assignment has changed. You are being commissioned to show the world what it looks like when the creator of the universe decides to spoil one of his own. Stay expectant. The mail is moving. The wires are transferring. The hearts are turning. The strange source is already on its way to your door. The silence you have been living in is not the silence of abandonment. It is the quiet before the floodgates groan under the weight of my yes. You have looked at the numbers until they blurred, trying to find a mathematical exit from your stress. But I am the God of the remainder, the God of the 12 baskets left over when the logic of the world said there was only enough for a few. I am looking into the deep recesses of your history, back to the moments where you were cheated, where you were overlooked for the promotion, where your kindness was exploited for another's gain. I have kept a ledger of every tear shed over a bill and every sigh exhaled in the dark. The compensation is not just coming, it is being retroactively applied with the interest of heaven. The source will be strange because it will defy your categories. It may be a check from a company that went bankrupt years ago, a dividend from a stock you thought was worthless, or a gift from a stranger who tells you they saw your face in a dream. Do not overthink the mechanics. If I can pull a coin from the mouth of a fish to pay a tax, I can pull a fortune from the shadow of a mountain to pay your mortgage. I am doing this to break the spirit of poverty that has tried to claim your lineage. I am stripping the survival tag off your name and replacing it with sovereignly appointed. You will feel a physical lightness in your chest, a literal loosening of the muscles in your neck that have been taut with the strain of carrying the world. I want you to go into your kitchen and pour a glass of water, and as you drink it, realize that I am doing for your finances what that water does for your thirst: refreshing, life-giving, and completely necessary. The phone will ring, but it will not be the voice of a creditor. It will be the voice of opportunity, a voice asking for your expertise, a voice offering a settlement, a voice of a long-lost friend returning what was borrowed with a heavy heart and a heavy purse. You are not a beggar at the gates. You are a child at the table. The strange source is a testament to my creativity. I am bored with the ordinary ways of providing. I want to startle you with my goodness. I want to make you giggle with the sheer absurdity of how much I am about to pour out. The mail carrier is walking toward your house even now, carrying a document that will change the trajectory of your next 10 years. The wires are humming through the deep-sea cables, moving numbers into your name because I whispered to a heart in another time zone to release it now. You are entering the realm of the suddenly. The suddenly that lasts a lifetime. Prepare your heart to be a distributor. This is not just for your comfort, it is for your calling. You have been a good steward of the little, now watch as I make you ruler over much. The much is not a weight, it is a wing. It will allow you to fly into the places I have destined for you, places where you will buy the land, build the house, and fund the dream that you buried under the soil of someday. Someday is today. The strange source is not a myth. It is your new reality. It is the sound of the chains of lack hitting the floor. It is the sound of the vault of my favor opening with a click that echoes in the halls of your enemies. They will see you and wonder how you survived, but then they will see you and wonder how you thrived. And you will simply point to the sky and smile, for you know that the God who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills has decided to give you the ranch. Rest your head tonight in the absolute certainty that the transition has already occurred in the spirit. The manifestation is only a heartbeat away. Sleep deep, for the morning brings a confirmation that will make your eyes wide with wonder. I am moving through the bureaucracies that once held you back, melting the red tape like wax before a flame. I am speaking to the hearts of those who hold the keys to the vaults, causing them to have a holy restlessness until they sign the papers that favor you. You will find money in pockets of old coats, and more importantly, you will find resources in the places you once called barren. The strange source might even be an enemy who is suddenly compelled to bless you, an irony I particularly enjoy. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, not just with a single crop, but with a perpetual harvest. You will no longer look at the mailbox with a sinking heart, but with a leaping spirit. The strange source is already knocking, not with a gentle tap, but with the authority of a king delivering a decree. Your name is on the envelope. Your name is on the deed. Your name is written on the palms of my hands, and I am closing the gap between your prayer and your provision. Believe it, for I have spoken it, and my word does not return void. It returns with dividends. You will see it with your own eyes before the moon completes its next cycle. The strange source is the signature of my love on your life, a royal seal that says you are cared for, you are thought of, and you are vastly wealthy in the currency of my grace. Do not try to figure out who it is. Just wait. Let the surprise be part of the medicine. I am healing your relationship with the word enough. From now on, enough is just the starting point. I am teaching you how to swim in the deep waters of my abundance. The tide is coming in, and it is bringing everything you thought was lost at sea back to your shore, cleaned and polished and multiplied. Your house will no longer be a place of quiet calculations, but a place of loud celebrations. The strange source is merely the messenger. I am the message. And the message is that I love you more than the stars have light. Think back to the times you walked through the grocery aisles, calculating the cost of every item against the dwindling balance in your mind, feeling that sharp pinch of worry in your gut as you approached the register. I was there with you, counting every penny alongside you, not with judgment, but with a promise. I have watched you nurse that single cup of coffee in the quiet of a cold morning, wondering how the ends would ever meet, and I saw the dignity in your silence. I was there when you turned off the lights early just to save a few cents, and I was there when you looked at the stack of bills on the kitchen table, the one with the small scratch on the left corner, as if they were monsters in the dark. I have seen the way you tried to hide your anxiety from those you love, the way you manufactured a smile while your heart was doing math that didn't add up. Those days are being erased from your future. I am rewriting your history with the ink of prosperity. Even as you breathe now, the gears of a distant heart are turning in your direction. I have visited the dreams of one who holds a key they do not even know is yours. They will wake with a persistent thought of you, a name they haven't spoken in a decade, or a face they saw only once in a crowded terminal. This is the mystery of my sovereignty. I use the unlikely to prove the impossible. You have spent so long bracing for the next blow that your shoulders have forgotten how to drop, how to rest. I am gently prying your fingers away from the grip of survival. You were not created to survive. You were created to flourish. Look at the ledger of your life through my eyes. Where you see deficits, I see seeds. Where you see a final notice, I see an invitation for my glory to arrive at the 11th hour. Do not be startled when the delivery arrives from a hand you didn't expect. It might come through a legal correction, a refund for a service long forgotten, or a sudden inheritance from a branch of the family tree you thought was withered. This blessing is not a loan. It is a harvest. It is the interest on every tear you shed while working jobs that didn't value you, and every moment you chose integrity over a shortcut to gain. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, and I am doing it with a flair that will leave you breathless. Your table is being set in the presence of your fears, and the menu is abundance. I want you to start planning for the after. What will you do when the pressure is gone? How will you breathe when the debt is a ghost of the past? I am expanding your capacity to receive. You have been a small vessel for too long, content with droplets, because you didn't want to be disappointed. I am stretching the walls of your heart so you can hold a river. This wealth is not just for your comfort, though I delight in your comfort. It is for your freedom. Freedom to say yes to the callings you had to silence because of the cost. Freedom to be the strange source for someone else down the road. But for now, your job is to stay in the posture of the beloved. You do not need to hunt for this provision. You do not need to audit your acquaintances to guess who the messenger might be. If you try to find it, you will only find your own effort. If you wait, you will find my grace. I am moving in the shadows of the bureaucracy that once frustrated you. I am speaking to the bureaucrats and the bankers, the lawyers and the long-lost relatives. I am clearing the path of every red tape and every no that has stood in your way. The yes is already echoing in the hallways of heaven, and it is traveling at the speed of my intent toward your front door. Soon, you will stand at your mailbox or look at your screen, and the weight will simply lift. It will be like a physical sensation, a sudden lightness in your chest as if a heavy stone has been rolled away. And in that moment, you will know that I have always been the one providing, even when the cupboards were bare. I was the bread in the wilderness, and I am the overflow in the promised land. We are moving into a season where your testimony will be your most valuable asset. People will look at your life and ask, "How did this happen?" And you will smile, not with the pride of a self-made person, but with the radiance of one who is deeply, profoundly loved by the King. This is the beginning of a new rhythm. No more frantic counting of coins. No more checking the balance with a racing heart. I am teaching you the pace of the wealthy, the wealth of the spirit that knows its father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Your provision is secure because your identity is settled. You are my child, and I do not neglect my own. The strange source is already in motion. The ink is drying on the check. The transfer is being authorized. The heart is being moved. Let your breathing become slow and deep. The frantic pace of the world is not your pace. You are governed by a different calendar and a different currency. In the kingdom I am building within you, peace is the primary asset. This financial blessing is coming to protect that peace, to act as a hedge around the garden of your soul. I want you to sleep through the night without waking up at 3 a.m. to check your bank app. I want you to wake up with the sun and feel a sense of anticipation instead of dread. You are being disconnected from the global spirit of lack. You are being plugged into the eternal source of more than enough. This isn't just a one-time event. It is a change in your climate. You are moving from the desert to the rainforest. The strange source is just the first rain of the monsoon season. It will be followed by steady, consistent growth. You will find that you no longer have to struggle to find favor. Favor will find you. It will follow you down the street. It will sit with you at the table. It will speak for you in rooms you haven't even entered yet. This is what it means to be the beloved. This is what it means to be chosen. The world will try to explain it away as luck or coincidence, but you will know the truth. You will see my signature in the strange source, and you will know that your Father has been mindful of you all along. The moon is watching your progress, and before it resets its face, your situation will have reset its entire trajectory. Hold on to this promise when the shadows try to whisper lies. The truth is louder than the lies, and the truth is that your provision is already on its way. It is closer than your next breath. It is more certain than the sunrise. You are cared for with a ferocity that would terrify your enemies. You are loved with a tenderness that will heal your deepest wounds. Your home, once a fortress of caution, is becoming a sanctuary of generosity. I am putting a new song in your mouth, one that doesn't have a single note of not enough. The strange source will be so unexpected that you will laugh, a deep belly laugh that you haven't felt in years. It will be the kind of laughter that breaks chains. This blessing is tailored to your specific needs, even the ones you haven't told anyone about. The secret desire to repair that broken fence, the hope to send a gift to a friend in need, the dream of a night where you don't have to choose between a necessity and a small joy. I am the God of the small joys as much as the God of the great miracles. I am in the details of your pantry and the specifics of your retirement. I am even in the repairs your car needs and the new shoes you've been putting off buying. Nothing is too trivial for my attention. You have been a faithful steward of the little, and now I am making you ruler over much. Wait for it. Watch for it. Welcome it when it arrives, for it is my love made manifest in the form you need most right now.